The Stratagems of the Helldivers series are what really sets it apart from other games, and today I'm going to walk you through which ones I think are best to use and which ones I think you should avoid putting in your Hell pod. Alright, we're going to start out with the stratagems from the hangar. In my opinion, some of the best, and one of the worst, stratagems in the game, because you know what? Starting with the good ones makes for an interesting YouTube video, and here we are. The Strafing Run. Now, the Strafing Run is unlocked only level 2 for only 1500 credits. That's real nice. The only problem is, it's an early game stratagem. It doesn't do much, it's going to fall off real quick for like level 2 missions. This takes out some bugs real nice, you know, if they're a nice straight line. This thing does come in quick. I'll give it comes in quick, but other than that, it's a D. It just doesn't do much. Moving on to another Eagle stratagem that I think is far better. Also unlocked at level 2, 4,000 credits instead of 1,500, the Eagle Airstrike. Early game unlock, does a ton of damage. I'm still using this more mid to late game. It can take out buildings. It can take out large swarms of bugs and robots. It can take out factories and things. Anything you need, it can take it all out. And comes in quick. I will say, it's a little tough to sometimes aim the direction of the run where it drops the bombs, and can kind of end up killing your friends. So that's keeping it out of S, but I'm giving this an A. Now, another fantastic early game unlock in the hangar is the Eagle Cluster Strike. Much smaller bombs than the actual airstrike, but is fantastic for taking out large swarms of enemies in early to even kind of mid-game swarms. Once you start getting up to like chargers and biotitans and stuff, this thing's not going to do much. But for early swarms of bugs, early swarms of light robots, this thing does some awesome damage. It's a level 3 unlock, also costs 4,000, so that's super early game. Based on that it doesn't have as much longevity in the game, I'm going to give it a B though. Next up in the hangar is the Napalm Eagle Strike. I'm conflicted on this one. It's good at blocking off areas, and it's very situational. If you've got a choke point, if you've got a couple hills, and you're trying to like defend an objective between those hills, awesome, because then everything has to go through the fire. Otherwise, some stuff can get around it and doesn't really get damaged by the fire. It's good too for like a bug breach. You can drop right in the bug breach and do a bunch of damage, but since this is so situational, and I might rather just have like an airstrike or something, I'm gonna put it in C here. Okay, I genuinely don't understand why the jump pack is in the hangar. It's a level 8 unlock, 6,000 credits, but it's not an Eagle. Why is this in the hangar? This should be in the backpacks and support stuff. Whatever, not the point. The jump pack is very fun though. You can use this to get up onto high points, which I have found, having the high ground, is actually very helpful, as Obi-Wan Kenobi has just said. In bug missions, I have found this to be really helpful, because nothing can shoot back at you, except for some of the spitters, but we don't worry about those. I've literally just stood up on hills and taken out chargers before, because they're just looking at me like, oh crap, how do I get up there? So, you know what? I'm giving the jump pack an A, just because of that ability to get up to high points you normally can't. Alrighty, my first one I have some strong negative opinions on. The Eagle Smoke Strike. It's a level 8 unlock, 4,000 credits, so still fairly early game, not too bad to get, but it doesn't do much. Against the bugs, not really useful at all. They just continue running at you anyways, they don't care. Against the robots, it does block them from targeting you and firing on you, but only for a short time while the smoke's there, and honestly, when it goes away, they just all target you again, so great for a quick reprieve to call in some allies, but this thing's just taken up where other stratagems could be, and not doing damage is not the way I manage democracy, so light breeze on a Midsummer's Eve. Alright, 110mm rocket pods. I don't know what the hell a millimeter is, so that's already throwing me off, but level 10 unlock, 7,500 credits. This tier does target higher health enemies first, which is nice, but I feel like it doesn't do enough damage to them to like wipe them out. Like, this thing isn't taking out a charger in one hit, which just kind of feels like the purpose of it, so I'm going to leave this as C, because it is nice to have it highly targeted and not, you know, wipe out your allies or yourself. Oh ho ho, we've got a fun one here. The 500 kilogram bomb. Still don't know what kilograms are. I don't know the metric system at all. But level 15 unlock, 10,000 credits, so more mid-game unlock here, but this thing is awesome. This drops one single huge bomb right on a target. This thing, if you land this right on a charger or something, right on a big robot, boom, dead, no problem. Piece of cake. It is pretty limited in its area. You would think for how big of a bomb is, it would have a wider damage radius, but for targeting high health things, this is awesome. I am going to put it up to the S of planes, because this thing, it's wiping anything out in its radius. Alright, let's mosey our way on over to the Patriotic Administration Center here, or also known as guns you can pick up with your character and move around. The machine gun is our first one. It's a level 1 unlock, you get it when you download the game. First mission, you got this thing, and honestly, I love it. I still use the machine gun for missions sometimes. It does good damage. It's awesome at clearing out waves of small enemies. High level missions, you really want to take out those weak enemies quick before they summon in the real strong guys. So machine gun, great at just laying into them. It's a little bit tough to control with the recoil, but if you get used to it, get used to pulling down on the mouse and joystick and whatnot, not terrible to control in my opinion. I'm giving it an A. I love this gun. Anti-material rifle, it's a sniper. Level 2 unlock, 5,000 credits to unlock. It's nice. You get a scope, which is cool, because most things in this game are pretty weak scopes. You can see further with this. You can take out some large enemies before you even alert them that you're there. It's nice for taking out, like, armored bugs, in my opinion. Does some good damage to robots, too, but, like, the bugs that have the real armored face looking at you, this thing will wipe them out. Bop them in the head, they're done. Other than that, it's very situational, and, like, once you start getting to the large swarms later in the game, it really falls off because low ammo, low fire rate. C, D for me. I think I'm going to put it in D just because it falls off pretty quickly. All right, another one I've got some strong opinions on. The Stalwart. It's another machine gun. Unlock at level 2, 3,500 credits. I don't like it. I'm going to come out and say it. I don't like it at all. I think the base machine gun is better in every respect. This one here says lighter ammo, less recoil to deal with. I have had no issue getting used to the recoil of the heavier machine gun. This thing just does less damage. The only slight plus is you can reload it while you're running. The main machine gun, you have to sit down and reload. This can reload while you're running, but everything else, no. Light breeze on Midsummer's Eve. I don't like it at all. Use the main machine gun. All right, up next here for our personal guns, we got the expendable anti-tank. Level 3 unlock, 3,000 credits. Early game explosive tube you can yeet large grenades at the enemies with. Big fan of that, but there is a better one coming up, the recoilless rifle perhaps, that really pushes this down a lot because it's just a better version. This thing only gets one shot. Low call-in time, 70 seconds, so you can get another one pretty quick, but you only get one shot. If you miss, you're screwed, so that's a D for me. Hey, would you look at that? Here it is, the recoilless rifle I was just talking about. 2 levels later, that's why I'm not a fan of the recoilless rifle. Level 5, 6,000 credits, still fairly early game unlock. This is the same idea, except it's reloadable. It comes with an ammo backpack. Your friend can hold an ammo backpack and shove these into the tube real fast. You can just be blowing up enemies with this. Awesome. Far better. B, maybe even an A. I'm thinking A. All right, the flamethrower here is an interesting one. Level 10, 6,000 credits, a little bit further into the game unlock where you're probably doing some harder missions, which hurts it a little because shoots fire at enemies, doesn't have a great range, you have to be fairly close. Nice at wiping out weaker enemies, but once you're getting to this point in the game, you're running into some much more significant enemies, and I feel like it just doesn't keep up. I really wouldn't take this at all. I'm not a fan. It's going in light breeze on a Midsummer's Eve. Another weapon you can use with the homies. I'm a big fan of that, by the way. The autocannon. Level 10 unlock, 7,000 credits, getting more towards mid-game stuff here. This thing just shoots large bullets at enemies. Fairly quick if you have a friend reloading. If you have to reload it yourself, it's pretty slow, but does good damage. Can't complain. That's a B for me. We've got a fun one here in the railgun. Level 20 unlock, 10,000 credits, so we're getting much later in the game, but I will say I have had fairly good luck finding these in supply caches on the ground, so I've gotten to use it a fair good bit even before I unlocked it. So you know what? I'm a fan. I'm a massive fan of this. You hold down to charge it up. You can overcharge and blow yourself up, so watch out on that one, but insane damage. You aim for headshots on this, you're taking stuff out. There's very few things this can't take out. It's an S for me. It's simply an S. Just be sure not to blow yourself up. Alrighty, the spear here is a fun one. It's a level 20 unlock as well, 9,000 credits. It's a rocket launcher, which is cool. It's got an extra ammo backpack you use with your friends again, which is cool. But it's got a slow locking time. Does insane damage, by the way, way better than the main rocket launcher, but slow locking time, gotta stand really stationary. And when you're using this on higher level missions, standing stationary kind of tends to get you killed a little bit, so I'm gonna put it in B. I like it, but I don't think it's fantastic for where you get. Alright, moving on to the orbital cannons. You know, the big guns that sit outside the ship and whatnot. First up is the orbital Gatling barrage. Level 2 unlock, 1,500 credits. For a level 2 unlock, I'm taking the Eagle airstrike over this any day. Doesn't do much damage. Takes out little enemies just fine, but unless you're trying to take out just little cockroaches and stuff, it's not worth it in my opinion. There's much better stuff you can take at this level. Just, it's a D for me. I'm not going to put it as a light Midsummer's Breeze because it does do damage early game, but it falls off real quick. Orbital Airburst Strike, level 5 unlock, 4,000 credits. I don't find it doing that much damage. It's good at taking out a large swarm of really weak enemies. You got a whole big horde of bugs or something. Bop them with this, it's fine. It's just fine. That's all I have to say about it. I don't like it. I don't hate it. It's a C. All right, we're getting to here a couple that I personally feel very conflicted about. The 120mm HE barrage. One of the conflictions, don't know what a millimeter is still. Level 5 unlock, 4,000 credits. It's nice. It does some good damage, but it's fairly inaccurate, fairly slow to fire. I just don't feel like it does as much as I want it to. It's super cool to be shooting down giant shells from space and having them hit, and I would love if that felt like it did more, but they're kind of slow and accurate. I just see it's mid again. Same story for the 380mm HE here. Level 8 unlock, 7,500 credits. It's just kind of inaccurate and slow. This thing does much more damage, I'll say that. It'll take out some buildings real good, it'll take out some bug holes real good, but you can't be close to this thing when you call it in. It's so inaccurate, if anyone's even in the general vicinity, they're done for. Which is good for the enemies, so it does do more damage. I think that's gonna put it up to a B for me, but I just wish it did more. I want it to do more because I want to use it. It's big bullets from space, that's awesome, but it doesn't do it enough for really knocking up the list for me. Alright, now here's where it gets a little more interesting. It's level 10 unlock, 7,500 credits, the Orbital Walking Barrage. This is much more targeted. I find this to be far more accurate and do better damage because it'll just walk forward in a line and start taking stuff out. So if you've got a robot storm coming towards you, it's actually real nice to use for that. This kind of bumps it up for me, and like, of the orbitals, I'm gonna give it an A, honestly. It's nice to use, does good damage, and far more controllable than these lower level ones here. All right, now here's an orbital one that I am a big fan of, the Orbital Laser. Level 10 unlock, 7,500 credits, not too far into the game, and it's a big laser from space that melts enemies. You throw this down and it starts targeting stuff and wiping them out. I love it. I'm a massive fan of this. It's an S, does great damage, melts high health enemies, fairly easy to not kill yourself or your team with. It's an S. All right, on to another one, again I love, the Orbital Rail Cannon Strike. Level 20 unlock, 10,000 credits, much further than the game, but this thing is insane. It's a rail cannon. You remember the railgun, how good that was? That's in an S. Where do you think this is going? This is a rail cannon from space, and it sticks to enemies. You got a charger coming at you, throw this thing at its head, it's dead. Easy. Boom. Instantly. I love the rail cannon. I can't say how much I love the rail cannon. It's so fun, too. It's a big bullet from space, and it does so much more than the previous big bullets from space. I'm rambling now. Alright, let's skedaddle on up to the bridge here with our other level 1 unlock, the Orbital Precision Strike. Instantly, every beginning of the game, you get it. It just calls in a precision strike from space. Not much more to say. Does great damage early game. Can take out some stuff real well. Awesome at taking out buildings. You got a building you gotta deal with? Bop it with this. Falls off pretty quick with the damage, and unlike the rail cannon, this doesn't stick to stuff, so that kind of hurts things. I'm gonna put it in a C. You can use it for a while in the game, but it does fall off pretty quick with some of the other stuff you unlock. The Orbital Gas Strike. Level 2 unlock, 4,000 credits. Don't use it. I'm not a fan at all. You poison yourself. I don't feel like it does much damage. That's a light breeze on a Midsummer's Eve, but it's like a stanky light breeze because it's gas. Level 5, 6,000 credits, Orbital EMS Strike here. I'm mixed on this one. I feel like this is definitely meant for the robot front. Shock the robots, slow them down, hit them with other bigger stuff. And it does do that job well. You can slow down the robots, you can hit them with other bigger stuff. So if you like combos with one of your friends with like an airstrike, very nice. But on its own, doesn't do that much. I'm gonna leave it at C because it definitely has its situational use, but I haven't found myself taking it too much. Orbital Smoke Strike is a level 8 unlock for 4,000 credits. I've made my feelings on smoke known, so we know where this is going to end up. But I want to talk a little bit about, while I was making this list, I had a thought. I feel like smoke would be so much more powerful if your Helldiver got, like, smoke-penetrating goggles or something. So, like, the enemies can't shoot at you, but you can shoot back at them just fine. I feel like that would upgrade smoke a lot. But for now, this goes in light breeze on a Midsummer's Eve, because it's just smoke. The HMG emplacement. It's a level 10 unlock, 10,000 credits. It's nice in concept. It's basically a turret that you can control, which is nice because then, you know, you won't shoot your allies, likely. You can aim at targets you want to, but you're tying yourself up with a job that a turret can do just fine. That means you're tying up yourself or another friend that can't call in stratagems, can't relocate, and relocating in this game is huge. I feel like movement in this game is key because if you stay static, something's gonna get you. You're gonna get shot by a robot, bug's gonna jump on your face, you gotta keep moving. So that lack of movement and tying up a Helldiver gives it a D for me. Shield generator today. This was a fun one. It's a level 10 unlock as well, 9,000 credits, a little bit cheaper than that HMG, might I say. But this drops down a big bubble shield to throw around you. I like it. You can shoot out of it, enemies can't shoot into it. Awesome for the bots, I tell you what, keep away some of that gunfire. But also a very static position type thing. If you're trying to protect an objective, maybe trying to get some civilians to safety or something, it's nice. I don't know that it's that nice. I feel like it's very limited use, great for extracts maybe. I'm really debating between B and C here as I'm thinking about it now. Now that I'm talking about the extracts, I really like that. I'm gonna put it in C. It's definitely got its uses, but it's not fantastic. Final unlock of the bridge here is the Tesla Tower. Level 15 unlock, 8,000 credits. It's big zap time here. This thing shoots lightning bolts at stuff, and electricity has a very interesting way it works in this game. It can travel through enemies, which is very nice. The problem, though, it can also travel into allies. So if that's traveling through some enemies and your ally gets close, zap. Or if this travels through a bug into yourself, that sucks. Does great damage, wipes things out well, but it's a huge danger to your team, in my opinion. So I'm gonna put it as a C, just make sure not to get too close to this thing if you do use it. Moving on down to the Tinkerers in the Engineering Bay, they've cooked up an anti-personnel minefield layer here, which is available at level 2 for 1,500 credits. I personally am not a fan. I've tried it a couple times. I find with like the movement in this game, I mentioned before with the HMG, you're moving around a lot. More often than not, you may be trying to push them back and go forward. You're going back. Like no matter where you lay this, you're probably going to run into it at some point. Or even if you're just like running around later in the mission, you're not fighting stuff, you might run into this when you laid it down earlier. You blow yourself up. Your friends don't know it's there. They blow themselves up. It's just, it goes in Light Breeze on a Midsummer's Eve because I don't want you to use it. Not because it doesn't do damage. It does damage, but it does too much damage to your own team. All right, moving in the complete different direction with the Engineering Bay here, the Supply Pack. It's available at level 2, 4,000 credits. I cannot say enough how good the Supply Pack is. You get 4 ammo reloads that you just stick on your back. You can give them to yourself, you can give them to friends. This thing is insane. I think this is absolutely critical to take if you're playing solo, because you will need the reloads. And if you're playing in a team, I think it is very important to have at least one person take the Supply Pack. Certainly not everyone needs to take it, that's not worthwhile, but at least have one person take this. And even a bonus of the Supply Pack here. If you call in a resupply, it can suck up all the things in resupply, put it right in the backpack. Boom, mobile resupply. That's an S, that's an easy S. Always take this. If you're playing solo, take it yourself. If you're playing a squad, make sure one person has it. The grenade launcher, another one I'm very fond of. It's a level 5 unlock, 6,000 credits. Kind of expensive for that early in the game, but it is awesome. I love it. I've done some solo playing, I've done some team playing. This is a must-take for solo playing, in my opinion. You can shoot these grenades into bug holes to take them out. You can shoot them into bot factories to take them out. It gets a little hairier when you're playing with a team, because these things sometimes like to bounce off of bugs and bounce towards your allies. I've definitely taken out some friends with this thing before, but I think it's an S. Not as strong an S as the backpack I was talking about, but it is awesome to take. Works early game, works late game. I love it. All right, we've got a very interesting one in the laser cannon. Level 5 unlock, 4,000 credits, fairly easy to get early game. Super tempting because it doesn't use ammo. It's got its own battery in it, however the hell it keeps running, I have no idea. Just gotta make sure you don't overheat it. Great for ice planets, if it did more damage. Wouldn't overheat on ice planets as much, but it just doesn't do that much damage in my opinion. I don't know. I don't feel like I'm taking stuff out fast enough. I feel like you get overrun when I'm using this thing, so it's a D for me. Incendiary mines, level 8 unlock, 4,000 credits. My statement on mines stands. You're gonna take out yourself and your teammate. Just don't take the mines. There's better stuff to take at this point. Just don't touch the mines, please. All right, here's someone I have some thoughts on. The Guard Dog Rover. It's a level 10 unlock, 7,500 credits. It's a robot that flies around and follows you, and it's got a big laser on it. It's nice that it follows you and takes stuff out with a laser. That's honestly super cool, but it is definitely a danger to yourself and others. Turrets, I'm not too bad with because they're stationary. You know where the turret is. You can keep in mind, all right, turret's there. Gotta make sure I stay out of its line of fire. This thing moves. It's gonna move around and start taking stuff out, so it's kind of unpredictable. I'm gonna put it in a C. Very dangerous to yourself and your team, but it does do good damage, and it's a turret that follows you around. That also doesn't run out of ammo because of the laser. The Ballistic Shield backpack here, it's a level 12 unlock, 6,000 credits. This feels like it'd be very good if it was like a level 2 unlock. You could use it early game, block some bot gunfire early on. A level 12? There's a lot more going on. I feel like this does not protect you well enough. That's a Light Breeze on a Midsummer's Eve. I really don't think it's worth taking. The Arc Thrower. Level 15 unlock, 7,000 credits. My thoughts on electricity stand. This is a very interesting one. It does some good damage, and it's mobile, so you can control it a little better than the tower, but this does still arc through stuff, which means it can arc into your teammates. I haven't had it arc into myself before, but it can definitely arc into your teammates, let me tell you what. So, good damage, danger to others for sure. I think we're going to give it a B. It's a bit more controllable than the tower, but still definitely a danger to others. The little brother to the stationary bubble shield, the shield generator pack. Level 20 unlock, 10,000 credits. A little bit more mid-game, but you know what? You're going to need this thing for late game. This thing can defend from some bot lasers. Charger coming at you, you'll bounce right off and you won't take damage. This thing is a lifesaver when tons of damage is flying around in the game. Because there'll be things you miss, there's things you can't dodge. This thing will keep you from getting blown up. I love this shield. There's other backpacks I like taking, so it's not an every time take for me, so it keeps it out of S, but that's an A. The defense on this is insane for late. Alright, let's go talk to the AI experts in the robotics workshop because we have got some sentry turrets here. The machine gun sentry is a level 2 unlock for only 1,500 credits. You can get this thing right away. I'm a big fan of this early game. Does good damage, keeps the small enemies off your back, also keeps some bullets in your back because it does not care if you're in the way, it'll just keep shooting anyways. But, in my opinion, it's kind of a built-in learning tool to keep you to stay away from turrets later in the game and kind of learn about paying attention to where your turret is and learning about turret placements. You know what? It's a learning stratagem. Does good damage. It's a B for me. The Gatling Sentry is basically just a faster firing version of the Machine Gun Sentry. It's a level 5 unlock, 4,000 credits. Great for taking out the higher health enemies. My only big gripe with it is it has very low ammo. I feel like this thing just retracts its way back into the ground real quick. So I am honestly going to put it down at a C. I love the damage and the high volume of fire output, but it just goes away too quick. Alright, we've got a bit of a divisive vote, I'll say, in the community. I've seen people hate this, I've seen people love it. It's the Mortar Sentry, it's a level 8 unlock, 7,000 credits. Me and my friends have affectionately named this thing Lucky, because you're lucky if you don't get hit by a shell from this. It targets enemies, much like the other turrets do, but as the enemies get closer to you, that means there's mortars flying out from the sky at you as well. So this thing is insane at keeping enemies away from your position. Once they start to get close and overrun you, things get a little hairy, but the damage output is ridiculous. And this uses ammo pretty slow, so I feel like this thing stays out for a long time. This can be awesome at more mid-range missions at keeping things away from your positions. Not giving it an S because of the potential to blow up your team very easily, but I am giving it an A for that wild damage. Moving on down the list, we have got the standard guard dog here. It's a level 10 unlock, 7,500 credits, like the normal guard dog rover, but this thing just has a gun instead of a laser. I'm not a huge fan. I don't feel like it does that much damage. It's nice that it follows you, but having a laser taped to a robot falling around is so much cooler than just like a Glock taped to a robot, so it's a D for me. I gave the handheld autocannon before a B. Now we've got the autocannon sentry. That's a level 13 unlock, 6,000 credits. This thing is awesome. Melts enemies, puts out big bullets, throws big bullets at enemies. I love that. That is my S tier turret. You want an S tier turret? Autocannon sentry. Much less damage to your own team too, because a little more controllable where it's going, because it's not an arc fire, it's straight line fire. Coming in at a level 15 unlock here, 7,500 credits, we've got the Rocket Sentry. I love the personal rocket launcher. The Rocket Sentry is also good. Now this targets high health enemies, much like the 110mm rocket pods from earlier. But again, the same thing kind of feels to be true, where it doesn't do enough damage with high health enemies, where I'd almost rather this thing be shooting at like swarms of low health enemies and taking out big piles of them. So it does good damage, but the aiming for high health enemies almost feels like it hurts it, so I'm going to put it in B. Rounding out our list of unlock stuff here, we've got the EMS Mortar Sentry. Level 20 unlock, 8,000 credits, a little later in the game, and I've made my thoughts known on the EMS effects from before. Doesn't seem like it does that much. It slows things down, that's good. But this one I'm a bigger fan of because it's a mortar sentry, which means it's outputting them constantly for a good portion of time, which means it gives you enough time to throw in other high damage stuff. Unlike the single mortar strike that wears off pretty quick, this outputs some continuous EMS. So drop down a 500 kilogram bomb on stuff, why don't you? Maybe an airstrike. I am going to put this up to an A. This feels real good on the bot front where you can slow them down. All right, rounding out our list here, we've got a few more things that are available right at level 1 here. This is the resupply. It's a basic thing in the game. You need more ammo, resupply. You need some more gear, resupply, stims, grenades, everything. But this has a little hidden secret. Did you know you can throw this at chargers or other large things, stick it to their face, and drop the resupply directly on their head and kill them? I love this. This is such a nice little feature that it sticks to things, so not only do you get ammo back, it's got an offensive capability. I'm going to give it an S because it is vital to the game, and you can kill stuff with it. Now, I love how they've set up matchmaking in this game with the SOS beacon. You call down help from random people on the internet. I unfortunately have not been able to join a single random game yet. I've been playing mostly with friends, but a couple times I got on solo. I'm like, hey, let's join some random people. Let's see how it goes. I have never connected to a game successfully, and I feel like when you throw this down, you don't get much help because people have trouble connecting. I hope they iron that out in the future. Game's new. There's bugs. I totally understand. I'm sure it'll work well in the future. You can also pop things in the head with this. That's cool. So I'm just going to give it a B because I don't really know what else to do with it. It's a utility matchmaking thing. I don't really know what I'm talking about anymore. We're going to move on. Same thoughts as the resupply. Bring your friends back, and you can possibly pop things in the head because you can stick it to things. It'll follow them around. Now, your teammates do have to steer it in, which I have found to be very hard to successfully steer in and actually land on the thing you want to. I swear I usually land right next to it, and a charger just kind of hits me in the face, and I need to respawn again. So not as useful as the resupply for killing things, but it's an A because it brings your teammates back. You gotta have this. You just need it. Finishing off our list, last but not least, we have got the Hell Bomb. Now, I love the Hell Bomb because it's such a cool built-in feature. There's plenty of optional objectives in the game, and the devs could have said, hey, you didn't bring a building destroyer? You can't do the optional objective where you got to take out the scientific lab. But they said, you know what, no, we want them to build 100% every level. Here's a Hell Bomb. Here's a massive bomb you can throw down and take out buildings in case you forgot a stratagem that could do it. I love this. Does insane damage. Called in. It's meant to do the side tasks, but it's not like you can use this thing to take out like, hey man, there's a big bug over there. Call in a Hell Bomb. It's meant for tasks. But great damage. I love that they thought that into the game so that you can 100% every level if you want to. I'm going to give it an A. If you found this list here informative, helpful, angering even if you disagreed with them, I'd love if you all to comment down below, told me your favorite stratagems to use, and if you really like this video, consider hitting that like and subscribe button. Thanks, and I'll see you guys next time.